Hello everybody, it's DJ Paranormal Response with yet another story. I forgot I had these sitting in the drawer. I pulled one out today, and I've got another one that pertains to the year 1935. And as you know, that pertains to the time period that I've been working with here on the last, 4 or 5 different videos I've been doing. And by now you probably all know the spirits that are hanging around here with me. You like my Geoport? Yeah, Geoport. You can get yours at Big Lots. Your closest Big Lots.
You will be a happy.
I've also got a little announcement at the end of this video. Okay, guys, who's here with me today? Is Cray here? I heard Lewis's name in there. You guys want to read another story? Are you familiar with the Exchange Hotel? 1935, the Exchange Hotel. I'll show you a picture. So, in this image taken in 1935, we see the Exchange Hotel, which was located at North Main Street in Albion, which is this town. The front windows are adorned with alcohol paraphernalia, including a Genesee beer sign. The hotel's liquor license hanging in the left window, and the Bell Telephone Company signs indicating the presence of a public telephone. What year were public telephones first introduced? Can you tell me what year public telephones were first introduced?
Have you tried butter nut?
20 minutes before midnight.
I'm going to turn down. Sorry, guys.
We'll join you with.
At the time this image was taken, Patrick Grady was the proprietor of the business. Do you guys remember Patrick Grady?
Sure, of the break you.
Was anybody here friends with Patrick Grady? He was an immigrant from Ireland. Grady had his start locally as a farmer, spending several years working for SUPT, I don't know what that is, Luddington at Orleans County Elms House, and on other farms throughout the area. Sorry, it's hard to hear this and do this. I'm a guy, I do one thing at a time. But I want to break in between so we can try and get something.
Because you get.
So the Orleans County Elms House for the poor, we have a graveyard for the Elms House, which is located in what is now a farmer's field for corn. And they actually left the plot of land out where all the people are buried. There's a lot of slaves there, servants buried there. They have no names. There's just numbers. And I've been there a couple times, and I think we'll go do a session there one day too. That's pretty cool. So, where was I? He worked for support Ludington at the Orleans County Elms House and other farms throughout the area. He later worked as a back driver for Anson Dunshee. Now, Mr. Dunshee's name came up the last time we did a session. So he was a driver for Anson Dunshee at the Orleans House in Albion. He was transporting patrons from the hotel on East Bank Street. Okay, that falls into place with the last article. And he was transporting them to Clinton Street, which is the other side of town, probably a mile, at the Clinton Rail Station. It was January 1st, 1913, that through a series of unfortunate events, Grady took control over the Exchange Hotel. Hey, you guys, was Mr. Grady a good man? Did you guys like Mr. Grady?
I'll tell you first.
So Grady took over the Exchange Hotel. Next to the hotel was a barber shop, and upon closer examination, we can see Joe's Barber Shop printed on the awning. Joe's Barber Shop. There's the original one, huh? So owned and operated by Joseph Donatelli. There's a good Italian name, huh? Do you guys know Joseph Donatelli? The business was a partnership between Joseph and his brother Marion Mike Donatelli. The Donatelli family was well known throughout the Italian community as founders of the Donatelli's Orchestra and Donatelli's Italian band. Both brothers acted as conductors for the music groups, and Mike worked as a court interpreter for Italian immigrants who were unable to speak English. Hey, you guys, was Mr. Donatelli in your gang?
Look, last night you were
Was Mike Donatelli part of the mafia?
Incorporated, Boston.
Also visible is the Liberty Diner, a small lunch car situated between the two frame buildings. Okay, now if you guys remember the very first diner session that I did, I showed you a picture of the diner that sat out here in my driveway, and then I showed you a picture of a little diner between the two buildings. I didn't even realize that till now, but that's this little diner right here. And in the very first diner session, there's a picture there of that between the two houses. And I thought that it was the diner here that was between two houses, then he pulled it out and brought it to the lot. But that's not the case. This is the other side of town. Did you guys used to go to the diner across town, the Liberty Diner? Did you use that also?
Midnight.
George, are you here?
To agree, but just the same.
Is George here?
It's heavy.
George, was the Liberty Diner after you closed the Albion Diner? George, were you still open when the Liberty Diner was open for business?
Because if it is, then...
Okay, so we're at the Liberty Diner, a small lunch car situated between two frame buildings. When this image was taken, the diner was only 1 year old, but had fallen under the ownership of three different gentlemen before Fritz Bergman and George Root purchased the business. George? George, is your last name Root? Huh. It can't be that easy. George, is your last name Root?
Be coming out of his... Got it in my pocket.
I don't think you'll risk shooting him there. He'll fall.
George, are you here? I can't hear. From the Albion Diner. George, are you here?
What do you say?
Okay, well, let's see. If George Root is the same man, then maybe he closed this diner
You and honest.
because the picture that I showed you was 1932. So maybe he ran it here from 32 to 35 and then moved across town. That's a possibility.
It's payment in
And it's a possibility that his name is George
Built
Root.
himself.
I can look that up. So he purchased that business in 1934 in addition to the name of the business
Got the wire recorder
and the phrase "Tables for Ladies." It was also painted on the front end of the car. What does that mean, tables for ladies?
Investigations.
Can you guys tell me what tables for ladies means?
And the first Pearson.
So if I just keep reading, so the term tables for ladies represents a distinct change in social constructs regarding women at the time. Prior to this, women who were seated at tables alone at restaurants were assumed to be prostitutes searching for business. Were there a lot of prostitutes in the 30s here? A lot of prostitutes went downstairs at the hotel, right?
And one from one reel onto another when I put.
Now we just have crackheads.
Just
Not a
the
prostitute.
dope guys will spend just.
So as the role of women changed from the traditional stay-at-home mindset to one of mobility, the phrase "tables for ladies" allowed women to dine out alone with others in comfortable and respectful fashion. It's a little blurry, I'm sorry. The sign represents the business owners. The sign represents the business owners' understanding of changing society and their willingness to offer a safe environment for women to gather without male accompaniment. So these buildings were raised in the 1930s and the early 40s. Starting in February of 1937, work began on the demolition of the Exchange Hotel after Patrick Grady's retirement, and a gas station was constructed in its place. The barber shop and the lunch car were replaced by a restaurant, and the building to the far right remained a place until several years ago when the village of Albion demolished it. A parking lot and a vacant grass lot now occupy the space. The roof of the Presbyterian church appears in the right-hand corner. I know this really means nothing to you guys, but it is a puzzle that is slowly piecing together for me. Okay. It's a very quiet day here today, I think.
This stuff was expensive.
So, that's that, you guys. I've got a couple more articles, but I don't think that they have anything to do with the 30s. They might be even earlier. They might be late 1800s. But we'll do them. We'll see what happens. Thank you, Lewis, for coming through if you did. Thank you, George, for coming through if you did. I haven't heard you today, Jasper. How are you? Are you here?
He's been given a new twist.
Hey, Jasper. How you doing?
Wait.
Jasper, did you go to the house with me last week?
Bocamba Queen were met as they came.
So, guys, I'm going to go. But before I go, I want to tell you in the next video.
Back already?
I know that I was talking loud and this is loud. I don't have my recorder with me today, and I don't know how well this is going to record. It may be way loud. It may not be loud enough. So the next video that we do, we're going to be building a geobox. The geobox. We are going to build it. Not the geoport. Because there's really no building to this. It's just take the back off and stick an amp inside of it if you want. Stick a reverb unit inside of it if you want, and put it back on and sell it for $2,000. I covered my lights up. His light all the way up. I covered them up. I like 3 lights going deep, deep, deep. I think that looks cool. I spent $15 on this, by the way. You can do that too. I will not sell this one. I may give it to somebody to use at their establishment, or I may give it to another haunted location that doesn't have anything like this, so if investigators come in and they want to use it, they can. I wouldn't know how to sell this. I didn't, I guess I could sell it for $25. I just don't see the point in that. I kind of like it though. But don't buy a fucking Geoport, whatever you do. Don't buy a Geoport. Geobox. We're going to build a Geobox. And we're going to build it from scratch. I've got the radio shell. I'm going to show you how to stain it. We're going to varnish it. We're going to put the electronics in it. We're even going to put a sweeping radio inside of it. I think he sold maybe 1 or 2 with a sweeping radio. After that, it's just plug in your own stuff, kind of like my radios. My radio's amps. His are amps. This is an amp. The only thing that matters is this. The only thing that matters is this. This. Those are what matter. These are amps. Those just project the sound of these. Okay? I think a lot of people are getting confused. Even though I make videos, people are still getting confused. They're asking me what they have to do with the radios, and I tell them it's an amp, it's not a radio. You need to use your own radio, you need to use your own phone, you need to use a tablet. That's the way I build them. I only build them because I think they look nice, and I like the looks of the old radios. I like the looks of the cigar box. I like making little lights on top of them and make them look like old tubes. I like to do that. I don't do it to claim that they're anything else. Okay? I'm not telling you that they're gold and I can speak to the highest angelic voice. I'm no better than anybody else out there. And they're no better either. Actually, they're worse for what they're doing. But we're going to build a Geobox, and you guys will be able to build your own. And I'm going to sell that Geobox for whatever it goes for. But there is a plan for that Geobox, okay? I'm not doing it for my personal profit. I am going to make a little money on it because I've got my time still involved in it, but I've got a plan for that. So I am going to sell that radio. We'll see what happens with it. We'll see what it goes for, and then I'll show you where that money's going. So, that's it. Let me shut down my Geoport. Okay, so thank you guys.